Hey guys, so today I want to talk to you about the science of forgiveness, and I apologize if there's a lot of background noise. It sounds like there's some kind of crazy storm going on outside. There's really not. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, so science of forgiveness is the topic today. So when we think about someone that we need to forgive in our life, if you think about someone who has really hurt you, something somebody has done, um, sometimes it can be very, very difficult to forgive that person. We can't get past the resentment and the anger and the why did they do this to us and that feeling of hurt that they caused us in our life. And sometimes, depending on what it is, if it was an insult, sometimes we believe what they said to us. If there was bullies, sometimes we believe those things and then we don't feel very good about ourselves. We might say, oh no, I don't believe that, but subconsciously, because of what happened at the time, we start to let people take our power away. So if you have any resentment or anger towards someone, it is because they're still holding some power over you. That's not okay. So the way that we forgive people is to understand, first of all, why it is that people hurt us in the first place. So if you think about your mind like a filing cabinet, so when someone gives you a compliment, when someone says something really nice to you, that's great, it's nice, you might believe it, you might not, but what our mind, our brain will do is it will take it and it will file it right at the back of the filing cabinet that we have in our mind. Why? Because we don't really need to have that information that they gave us, that we're great, we're wonderful, whatever it is. It's really not that important, because what our brain values and thinks is important is our safety and our protection. So that is why when someone does something mean and something hurtful, our mind will file it right at the front of our filing cabinet so we can recall it at any time, so we can avoid putting ourselves in a situation like that again in the future. Whether that means avoiding that person as much as possible or avoiding a similar situation. If something happened in a social situation, perhaps we'll just start avoiding social situations altogether. This is why our brain does that out of self-preservation. Now, it doesn't mean that if someone said something mean to us, let's say that we were bullied when we were little, filing it at the front of our filing cabinet does not mean that that thing that they said is true at all. That's not what it means at all. It just puts it there so that we avoid getting hurt in the future. So if you think about people, bullies, people who have hurt you, perhaps it was your parents, perhaps you were abused by someone, perhaps you had a really bad relationship. If you are still harboring any kind of resentment or anger towards a person who has hurt you, they have power over you. So a really good way to start forgiving someone so that you can let go of that and that you can move forward and take your power back from that person is to imagine whoever it is as a very young child, like maybe 4 or 5 years old. So you would close your eyes and you would just imagine that person as a very, very young person, and then just have a conversation with them in your mind and try to understand why they were so hurt that they felt the need to hurt you. When we can be compassionate and understand that the only reason anyone would ever hurt us is because they themselves have been hurt, or they themselves feel unloved, or they themselves had the same thing happen to them and they're trying to pass that pain that they have off of themselves onto someone else because they just don't know any other way. As soon as we can understand and be compassionate, it really changes the way that we think about that person, and it starts to give us our power back. So just imagining that person as a very, very young person and just trying to have as much compassion and understanding for them as possible is a really good first step. So now, scientifically, it has been proven that upon someone forgiving, whether themselves or someone else, they can actually physically jump higher. That means a lot. It is significant. So when we are holding on to any kind of anger, resentment, any unforgiveness, it is a heavy, heavy burden to carry. And it's not something that we need to keep forever. So just start with this one little example of just imagining them as a small child. Let me know how that works for you, and stay tuned for more videos of how you can just begin to forgive people and take your power back into your own hands. So have a great day, guys.